Welcome to International Securities Exchange's podcast series. Facilitated by renowned educators, ISE podcasts are intended to teach beginning as well as seasoned investors the ins and outs of trading. To find an updated list of podcasts, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts. Please be sure to listen to our important message following this episode regarding the risks of investing in exchange-traded options.
Interesting. Jack, do you want to, you have any closing statements? I just want to, before you do that, I want to remind everyone, Currency Currents, please go and check it out. It's a daily free global macro commentary. Jack and his son write some amazing stuff. I'd highly recommend that you check that out. And then, if you think it makes sense, you may want to sign up for the Currency Strategist. So please, obviously you've learned a lot probably in this last hour or so, but you got to stay up on this each and every day. This isn't going to be a once every 4 months. I think, and Jack will probably agree with that you need to do your homework. You need to be confident, and not only that, you need to understand where what are your financial goals, what are your risk tolerances, and that's something you'll have to think about. But Jack can help you with trading once you understand where you stand as far as your risk reward trade-off. Jack, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, the scenarios I laid out here today are that. They're scenarios. None of this stuff is set in concrete. And as Steve said, you're watching. The good thing about creating scenarios like this is it opens up your mind to these potentialities. And as Steve said, when you do your homework every day, it's not that you're dwelling on these things, but you see information click into place and you go, oh, this makes sense in this broader scenario that I've been thinking about. The daily information, the daily homework clicks into place when you step back and gain some perspective of some of these broader scenarios that I think are helpful, even though, as Steve said, from a trading perspective, they're a little bit pie in the sky. But I think they can always be helpful in terms of a directional trade, even on the shorter term time frames. And as I said, we love looking at these scenarios. We find it very fascinating, and to have a product like the FX option product to trade them in a low risk fashion, long term, just makes so much sense to us. I guess those are my closing comments. And again, just thank you everybody for attending. I know this was a little laborious today, but these things, as you can tell, aren't fully shaped in my mind either. It's a constant evolving process as we watch the market.
That's so interesting, Jack. Options are great. I mean, obviously, there's lots of different ways that you can trade this. You can trade it, as Jack said, from the spot perspective. So that would be somebody that's very, very aggressive and wants to sort of trade, almost 24 hours a day or nearly that. And then you have the futures perspective where you have to have an account, and you could do that. But the options, to me, are going to give you at least you have a limited risk. So you may want to think about all those alternatives, but, we at the ISE are trading the options. We'd love you to take a look at all the different alternatives that are out there. You can trade just straight out call and puts. You may, as you start to read the currency, you're going to get an idea. You'll really start to understand at least what Jack's writing, and you'll be able to say, yeah, I agree with it, or I disagree, or whatever. And again, the currency strategist will even help you more. So I would highly recommend to everyone that's listening, sign up, go to www.blackswantrading.com, check that out. But please come back. Jack will be back with some future webinars where we'd be talking about, as he said, what could happen with the euro. And we have other ones, Jack. I can't remember the other ones that, what else do you have coming up the pike? I can't remember.
We have the euro. We have the China. Really, China's role. A real detailed look at China's role in the currency markets, which, as I said, they're the big dog here.
No, can't wait for those. So those will be on Thursdays. Please come back on Tuesdays again. But Jack, I just want to thank you. You gave us a wealth of information today. I learned so much each and every time.
Well, thank you.
Really, how intriguing it is, because this really drives everything you do, whether you're just going to Walmart and buying something, or you're buying a bond or a stock or whatever. Currencies matter. So, please keep coming back and go to blackswantrading.com. Go and you can obviously subscribe to the daily free global macro commentary. I'd highly recommend it. Thanks again, Jack.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. Take care.
On behalf of the ISE, this is Steve Meisinger, your host, saying thank you very much. I want to thank Jack Crooks again for being such a great guest, and I want to thank all of you, the attendees, for being here today. Hope you learned a lot, and come back next week where we have, again, some more great webinar topics. And if you missed anything, please, www.ise.com/archives, so you can catch up on any of the previous material that was presented. Thanks again, and have a great evening. On behalf of the ISE, this is Steve Meisinger saying good night.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. To find more podcasts on options, stocks, alternative markets, and market data, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts.